The game you watched that hurt people by Peace Love Sunshine. You probably didn't realize what you were witnessing at first. So let me tell you a story. It begins in the quieter corners of the internet. Message boards, early forums, late night searches. Where people, maybe even you, were just trying to figure out how to connect, how to be seen, or how to be loved. At first, it felt harmless, even hopeful. People were nervous, vulnerable, asking questions. But somewhere along the way, that search for understanding became something else. Something calculated, something darker. You stumbled into the world of dating advice forums, thinking it was just that, advice. At first, it seemed simple. People shared awkward stories, looked for tips, wanted help navigating the social world. But then you noticed the shift. That moment when "how do I talk to someone I like" turned into "how do I get them to respond the way I want." They started calling it game. The rules weren't about honesty or connection. They were about control. They called it PUA, pickup artistry. It was everywhere. Scripts, openers, tests. Every conversation was a calculated move. Every compliment was loaded. Every silence a tactic. You saw people performing masculinity like a magic trick, fake confidence, forced charisma, and emotional bait disguised as charm. They called it seduction, but what you saw was manipulation. They didn't just give advice, they taught systems, techniques, tactics. You watched as people were taught how to anchor themselves to feelings of safety or pleasure so that their presence became addictive. They learned mirroring and pacing, subtle tricks to manufacture trust by reflecting someone's tone, posture, or energy. There were qualification loops, designed to make others prove their worth just to stay in the conversation. Then came push-pull dynamics, creating tension and confusion on purpose just to make someone chase after clarity that never really came. Connection became a performance. Intimacy, a power play. Then you watched the game stop working for some. They followed the scripts and failed. Again, and again, and again. Instead of questioning the system, they blamed the people they were trying to manipulate. That's when you saw something darker emerge, PUAHate.com. A forum full of bitterness, rage, and entitlement. They said they'd done everything right, and still didn't get what they felt owed. That's where the black pill took root. The belief that attraction is purely biological. That if you don't have perfect facial symmetry or a square jaw, you're doomed. That no one will ever love you. You saw it unfold in real time. The language, the obsessions, the coded despair. There was constant talk of chads and stasis, shallow caricatures blamed for all perceived rejection. People fixated on bone structure, wrist size, even skull shape, as if human worth could be measured in millimeters. New terms emerged. Wristsel, heightsel, subhuman. Each one a label that narrowed identity down to a flaw. The darkest phrases like cope and rope circulated as twisted punchlines, masking suicidal ideation with bitter humor. It wasn't just sadness, it was nihilism. Then, in 2014, Elliot Rodger. Do you remember where you were when you heard the news? Did you hear the news? 6 people murdered. A manifesto. A video. He called himself the Supreme Gentleman and became a martyr in the Incel world. That's when you knew. This was more than bad advice. This was radicalization. You saw the ideology grow, fueled by YouTube algorithms, Reddit threads, Discord servers. What started as dating tips had become a movement of despair, misogyny, and resentment. But it didn't stop there. You started seeing those same tactics, the emotional manipulation, and the psychological games, outside the dating world. They crept into activism spaces, live streams, business coaching circles, and online communities. People began to weaponize vulnerability, revealing just enough pain to make criticism feel like cruelty. Trauma became a kind of currency, used to claim authority, or moral high ground. You noticed the use of preemptive emotional defenses, where conversations were framed in a way that made disagreement feel like betrayal. Emotional framing twisted honest feedback into personal attacks, while reframing allowed harmful behavior to be spun as empowerment or misunderstood brilliance. Underneath it all were coercive dynamics, where pressure and compliance were dressed up as loyalty, love, or passion. You watched people get silenced not by argument, but by emotional dominance. You saw communities fall apart under the weight of manipulation. And maybe, just maybe, you felt the effects yourself. That's why it matters to name what's happening. These aren't just bad habits. These are scripts, deliberately shared, refined, and passed on across dating forums, subcultures, and ideologies. They're part of a larger system. A set of tactics passed from one person to the next, refined in echo chambers, and disguised as wisdom. Over time, they've created a shared code, a way to manipulate without appearing to, a way to dominate without seeming aggressive. Once you learn to recognize that code, you start to see it everywhere. Now it's up to you to name it, share it, and spread the word, because that's how the game ends. Not by ignoring it, not by pretending it's harmless, but by helping others see the strings before they get pulled. The more we speak out, the harder it becomes for manipulation to hide in plain sight. Truth breaks the illusion, and once you see it, you can help others see it too. Thank you for watching. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet.